The top 15 countries at fighting the coronavirus. So I've heard a lot of talk about different countries doing a really good job at fighting the coronavirus, and which ones are the best. And so that's why I'm doing this video. I'm using statistics and data to show and document which countries truly are doing the best. I'm going to use the case rate, death rate, testing rate, how many international travelers the country gets, population density, along with several other factors to determine which countries are truly the best at fighting the coronavirus. Number 15, at number 14, New Zealand and Australia. They have a lot of testing, they have low death rate, and not that many cases. But they do have some advantages. For example, they're island nations, and also they're quite far away from where there's really high amount of cases of COVID-19. At number 13 is Latvia, and at number 12 is Slovakia. And what's so amazing about these countries is they're both part of the European Union. Now, if you take a look at where the most cases in the world are, you'll notice almost all the countries are in Europe. If you take a look at where the highest death rate is, you'll see that almost all those countries are in Europe. Yet these two countries, which are part of the European Union, were able to have such a low death rate and low case rate. So it's really impressive when their neighbors have such high cases that these countries were able to keep such low numbers. At number 11 is Jordan. You can just look at the death rate, 0.7, below 1. So impressive. At number 10 is Palestine, and look at the death rate, 0.6. But what really puts Palestine on the map is when you consider their neighbor, Israel. So if you're not aware, Israel and Palestine are kind of intermixed. If you're from Palestine and you want to fly somewhere, you have to use the Israeli airport. If you want to leave your country, you have to go through Israeli immigration. And as Israel and Palestine's populations are increasing, they're intermixing more and more and more. And so it's really, really amazing that Palestine was able to have a death rate of 0.06 when Israel has a death rate of 20, over 30 times higher than Palestine's death rate. At number 9 is Uzbekistan at 0.1 death rates. I mean, if you look at the numbers, you would think it's insane. The only reason why Uzbekistan's not lower on the list is number 1, because they don't get that many foreign travelers, and number 2, because a lot of the countries around Uzbekistan also have very low rates. At number 8 is Thailand, a death rate of 0.7. And if you're not aware, Thailand gets so many foreigners. Bangkok is one of the biggest international hubs in the entire world, and they're very close to China. At number 7 is the Maldives. The Maldives still does not even have a single death due to coronavirus, and basically everybody that has coronavirus in the Maldives was a foreigner. But the Maldives is very unusual. They get thousands of tourists and foreigners, but most of these foreigners go to remote islands and private resorts. And so in that sense, you might say, well, they're not really interacting with the locals. On the other hand, locals are working at the resort and coming in contact with the foreigners. And so, you know, it's hard to really know where to place the Maldives, and that's why I placed them at 7. At number 6 is Ghana with a 0.3 death rate. But even more impressive is their testing rate. Ghana has the second highest testing rate of all of Africa. And the only country higher than Ghana has a population 30 times smaller. So I'm just really impressed by how well Ghana's doing. At number 5 is South Korea. Now, South Korea has the highest death rate of any country on our list. But what was so impressive with South Korea is they had exponential growth, but were able to flatten it so quickly and prevent it from really escalating in their country. The other thing that's really impressive with South Korea is they were able to contain it mostly in the city where it happened, and their capital, Seoul, got very few cases. At number 4 is the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates is leading the world in testing their citizens. See, the United Arab Emirates is number 2 in the highest testing rate in the entire world, only beat by Iceland. And don't forget, Iceland has a population of 360,000. UAE has a population of 10 million. It's a lot harder to test 10 million people than 360,000. And don't forget, UAE is a big travel and business hub. They get so many international travelers. At number 3 is Kuwait. And if you follow my videos, you probably already knew this one was coming up. I did an entire video showing you all the amazing ways that Kuwait is fighting the coronavirus. But Kuwait continues to surprise me. I mean, they got a goodie basket full of food and other items to every Kuwaiti living overseas. Just amazing what Kuwait is doing. At number 2 is Vietnam. Only one statistic you need to look at for Vietnam. They have a 0, again, let me repeat, a 0 death rate. They have a population of over 90 million and not a single person has died from COVID-19. Now that is impressive. And at number 1, it's a tie. Hong Kong and Taiwan. I already made an entire video dedicated to all the amazing ways that Taiwan is fighting the coronavirus. And if you look at these two countries, they both have very low death rates, they both have very low case numbers, and they both have a ton of connections to China. I mean, Hong Kong is connected by land. So for these two countries to have so low numbers is just absolutely incredible. And it really should show you that really any country, it's possible to have really low numbers if you do the right things. So those are my top 15 countries at fighting the coronavirus. If you're from a country that didn't make this list but you think your country is doing an amazing job, check out this honorable mention. These are the countries that didn't make the top 15, but also are doing a really good job as well. And congratulations to the top 15 on this list. If you're from one of these countries, your country and your citizens are doing an amazing job at fighting the coronavirus.